Will Halo Campaign Evolved run on handheld? That's right, in this video we are checking out Halo Campaign Evolved on Windows handhelds, and I'm giving you a reason for that because we don't get free games like everyone else. We have to buy our games. So if the game's on Game Pass, I ain't gonna buy it. So unfortunately, you're just gonna have to deal with the Game Pass version, which means we're just looking at Windows 11 today. All of these devices are running Xbox mode just here. We've got the Xbox Ally just here. We've got the Xbox Ally X. We've got the OG Ally X, and we've also got the Legion Go 2. So we've got a Z2A APU in this one. We've got a Z2 Extreme, a Z2 Extreme, and a Z1 Extreme. And yes, I'm back from my holidays, so you can expect more videos now. But I'm not very hopeful about this game, if I'm perfectly honest, because it's Unreal Engine 5, and we all know that runs like trash. So, yeah, the first thing I want to say is you have to unpack the game once it was downloaded. Maybe that was because I, pre-installed it. That took quite a while. The other thing is pre-shaders take an absolute age, especially on the Xbox Ally. So the pre-shaders absolutely sucked here. Even on these two, the pre-shaders were kind of bad. The Xbox Ally didn't have any pre-shaders to compile, so I don't know what's going on there. Why did that one not have any, but the other three did? I don't know, but it takes a sweet while, so just bear that in mind. And you have to get into the game, go to the main menu before those shaders will compile, and it won't even let you enter the game until they're compiled, which is a kind of a good thing, I suppose. But anyway, let's crack on with it.
Right, it's time for me to pay the 128KB bills with today's totally impartial video sponsor, and that's UPERFECT. And today, we're lucky enough to introduce something I've deeply fallen in love with, the UPERFECT GR16HQ. This is an insane 16-inch, 120Hz, 3K OLED portable gaming monitor. Yes, it's a true 16x10 portable OLED gaming monitor, and this really has some tricks up its sleeve if you're looking to build the absolute ultimate in the portable gaming setup. Now, we've been using this in testing for an upcoming video with the Xbox Ally X, and because in my infinite wisdom, I thought it would be cool to make a video about making your own Xbox Ally X OLED. Andy was my guinea pig, but it's actually worked out better than I could have hoped for, so I asked them to sponsor this video, and luckily they said yes. And so onto the product. With the GR16HQ, you're getting a massive 16-inch 3K resolution display. The real selling point is that it is, of course, an OLED. That means infinite contrast, true inky blanks, and colors that absolutely pop. And to keep your games running flawlessly, it hits a blistering 120Hz refresh rate. And for keeping this whole thing portable is that you don't need a massive nest of cables or a bulky dock to keep it going. We literally just have one 100-watt power cable plugged straight into the Xbox Ally X, and then one single USB-C cable running from that directly into the portable monitor. Because of that power pass-through, the handheld is receiving its full turbo mode power, and it's driving and powering this massive 3K OLED screen simultaneously. It's incredibly clean. I really do love that you can just slide this razor-thin portable gaming monitor into a backpack alongside your handheld and instantly have flawless big screen OLED setup wherever you are in the world. It's insanely good. So if you want to stop squinting at your small screens, or you instantly want to have an OLED upgrade, then this is it, and it's 16 inches to boot, and everyone knows that more inches is better. So hit that link in the description to check out the incredible UPERFECT GR16HQ, and by doing so, you'll be directly supporting the channel. And of course, a massive thanks to UPERFECT for sponsoring this video.
So let's start off with the Xbox Ally. I'm gonna max it out because this is worst case scenario, isn't it? So we're gonna see if it can run. If it runs really good, maxed out and everything, well then you can, turn down the TDP, unplug it, whatever, change the resolution, all that good stuff. Let's just see if the game will even run. So I've got 6 GB set to the VRAM just here. I'm at 20 watts. I'm leaving it at 720p, and I have CPU boost off, and I'm using the AMD monitor on this just because it automatically popped up. So why not? This is one of the new missions. I've just jumped in it to see what it was like, and let's just go from here. So I'm gonna go to video. I'm going to go down here. I've got VSync off. I've got no frame rate limit. I've got borderless full screen on at 720p. I've got the quality set as low as it can go. So it's on very low everything. I've left screen shake on, motion blur's off. I'm using FSR native. I've got async compute off because that will probably make this tank hard. I've got low latency mode vendor specific, so it will choose AMD anti-lag, right? So that's what we're going with right now. So this is just native 720p at 20 watts, everything on very low, and we're getting 20 FPS. 19 FPS I saw there. We're going up to the 20, 28, 24. I mean, it's not playable, is it? Like this is just not good enough to play this game, honestly. I know this is one of the new levels and we're not even outside yet. But come on, like very low, 20 watts, and yeah, it's not ideal, is it? So let's just have a play around with FSR, and let's see if we can do that. I'm actually going to see if I can get into that resolution scaling. I don't know why that's off. When I was testing this game before I started filming on the Legion Go, I had the option to choose resolution scale. Oh, here we go. So I'm just going to straight away half this, right? So it's going to be 360p. And I'll just show you what this is like. So everything's native effectively, other than the resolution scale, right? So I've got TSR set to native. Everything's all the same. Look, so TSR native, so it shouldn't be using any upscaling. And we've got a 50% resolution scale. So it's literally going to be 360p. So I'm just going to save and exit out of that. Give it a second, and I can see already the FPS is up near the 40s. It is looking a little bit muddy, but if I just move the camera around, do you see it's not overly flickery? Okay, like over there on that grill, yes, but the image is pretty stable, and this will come into play when I enable FSR. This is totally playable. Like we're between sort of 35 upward. I did see a dip down to 29. That's a random dip, but it's around the sort of mid-30s mark at 360p with this thing maxed out. But you can play it. So will it run? Yes. Like straight away, just half that resolution down. You could even drop it even further. You know, you could like, well, can you? Can you even drop it any further? Or am I just talking rubbish? Like I always do. 50%, that's as low as it goes. So you can only go down to 50% resolution scale. So with just this alone, you can play this game on this handheld, right? On the Xbox Ally, you can totally run it at this. And in my opinion, this is the most stable image that you will get, because if I just go over to video and put the resolution scale back to 100, whoa, not that far, back to 100%, I don't want to super sample it, and then go down and let's go to, let's just say FSR, right? Now, they tell you what these mean, because it's not the normal like FSR naming. You've got low, medium, high, ultra, and native. Then on the right, it tells you their version and how much percent resolution scale. Why don't they just stick to the standard FSR naming scheme? I don't know, but whatever. So low is going to be 33% of your total resolution. Medium is 50%. So this in theory should be using 360p and upscaling, right? Well, let's just try that, shall we? So I'm going to go medium, please, which should be 50% resolution scale. I'm going to exit out. I'm going to exit out again and then again, and I'm going to give it a sec. And it's pretty much the same as doing a 50% resolution scale, but whoa, look at the image quality, man. Look at that. Can you see it's like snowing in here? Like all of the effects and everything from that upscale are just flickering worse than a Nintendo Switch. Like this is like horrendous, like absolutely unplayable for me. There's like, how are you meant to know what's like an effect of a gunshot or something if everything is popping like a muzzle flash? Like this is just absolutely ridiculous. So for me, this is not the way to play it. Don't use FSR upscale because it's just awful. Like that flickering just looks absolutely terrible to me. And just to quickly show you again, right, I'm going to go down here. I'm going to turn off FSR. I'm going to put it back to TSR and I'm going to go to native. Right, I'm going to go all the way back up. Just remember how bad and flickery it was a second ago, yeah? And I'm going to go here and drop it down. Same resolution we're aiming at. So we were just on 360p on FSR. Now we're going to go 360p, just drop the resolution. Look at the image stability. No flickering, really. I mean, that is an actual like flickering light, is it? Yeah, I think so. I don't know. But overall, there's a lot more stability in playing like this than there was with FSR. And honestly, I very rarely use FSR these days because it just looks terrible. Like the more I look at it, the more I do these will it run videos, the worse the image clarity and quality is. I'd rather just run it natively. Well, I say natively, I just mean rasterized at a lower resolution, because generally it's a much more stable image. And that is certainly what I'm finding here. So, I mean, it's not the best on the Xbox Ally, but it is playable. You know, it is playable. You're going to be sat around the sort of low 30s, sometimes peaking up to like high 30s. But in general, it's going to be all right playing on the Xbox Ally. But like I said, I would recommend playing at a 50% resolution scale and leaving TSR on native. But it's up to you. You can do what you want with this information and see if you want to play it on here. But that is the Xbox Ally. And next up, we've got the OG Ally X, one of my sweet spot handhelds. I've got such a fond love of this device because it's just so good. Like when this came out, it was brilliant. It's still really good. We're running 8 GB of VRAM here, just to show you that. We're going to go into the game, but before we do that, let's check this out. We're at 30 watts plugged in. Again, this is worst case scenario, right? And what you do with this information is see if it can run. If you're happy that the game can run, then you can drop, you know, the TDP down or use more upscalers, whatever. We'll go through some stuff today anyway, but I'm going to leave it at 30 watts maxed out, right? And we'll see how this goes. I'm not using CPU boost, so that is off. So there we go. So 30 watts. There we go. We're in the game. Screen calibration, nah. VSync off. Minimum and maximum frame rate, no. We're on borderless full screen at 1080p. We will change that in a minute. We're at 100% resolution scale. We're on low. Let's just put it all on very low just to match the Xbox Ally and to see how, if we can increase that. Screen shakes on, motion blur is off. TSR, we're going to put that to native. So that's native. I'm going to turn off async compute because it will make it chug. And I'm going to go vendor specific so that it uses AMD anti-lag. And we're going to back out. Remember, this is 1080p though, versus what we were on 720p on the white Xbox Ally, right? So already it's chugging. I mean, it looks really good on here, to be fair. Like, I've got a different screen protector. There's no screen protector on this one, so this looks really good. The like naked screen of the Allies, including the Xbox Ally, they're all the same, are really nice because they've got AR glass, which is really, really cool. But that's besides the point. That's not what we're here for today. What we're here for today is performance. So 23 FPS, 22 FPS, it's tanking pretty bad, isn't it? Remember at 1080p though, so let's just try dropping the resolution scale down, keeping everything else like native as such. So I'm just gonna use raster performance and we're just gonna drop the resolution down, right? So we're at 1080p, let's just drop it down to 50%. What's half of 1080? 540, so we're at 540p here. Right, so here we go. Boom, look at that. Straight up to like 50 FPS. And I must say, this is looking really nice because see how it's all nice and smooth? If you've just watched the Xbox Ally test, you know what I'm going to do next because this is super good. There's real stability in the image clarity here. I know it's only 540p, but with a tiny little screen like this, you kind of need to get out of your heads about resolution really, honestly, because 540p looks totally fine on this. It really does. It's not muddy or anything like that. If you threw upscaling on, then yeah, it would look terrible. But native or raster, I keep saying native instead of rasterized, right? Raster performance is really, really good. So stability of the image quality and clarity is very good here. There's not much like shimmering or anything. There's a little bit on the reflections on the bottom of the stairs there and stuff, but overall, it's very consistent and very good. 50 FPS, can run around stuff, and it's pretty much locked at 50. I'm even getting higher than 50 there. Very good, but I'm going to stay standing here and just give you one last little pass. Look at that, pretty good, right? Stability of the image, clarity, and quality, right? Stability. I'm just going to keep saying stability because I know I've said it loads, and you like it being stable. So let's put this back to 100%. And now what I'm going to do is just use FSR to do the same upscale, right, that we've just done. So I'm going to put it down to medium, which is a 50% upscale. So we're now back to 540p. This should be exactly the same, but it's not going to be. So I'm going to choose this and just back out, right? Look at all that shimmering. Can you see everything shimmering in the background? Like all the lights everywhere. There's just so much shimmer. Like there's glistening everywhere, shimmering everywhere. It's just not good. And you're getting less FPS as well because there's a cost to upscale again. So effectively the base render resolution is 540 and then it's upscaling it to 1080p, so it's actually taking a 5 FPS performance cost to re-upscale it. And in my opinion, it doesn't look any better than just raster running it at 540p. It might be a hair sharper, but honestly, it's not that much difference. But to me, all this shimmering, especially on the stairs there, look, that is just disgusting. Like, I can't play like that. I'm sorry. Like, if you can, all the power to you, but you're actually getting less FPS by upscaling this than just playing at 540p. And just to redo that for you, I will just go back to what we were just at. So let's go to TSR and go to native, right? And then we're going to go all the way up to resolution scale. And I'm going to drop it down to 50% again, right? And now, look, there's like 70% less shimmering. There's still the odd bit, but it's way more stable than using FSR to upscale, and you're getting a performance benefit here as well. But that is very low. So let's just crank it up, shall we? Let's just go to video, and let's go to preset quality. Let's just try low. Weirdly, the game only has very low, low, medium. Like, where's high? Like, what's all this? I don't know. I don't get it. It's weird. Anyway, let's go all low and back out. Remember, we're at raster 540p here, and we're getting like 40 FPS. That's all right. You know, I could play like this, totally. Could totally play like this, not a problem at all whatsoever. It's all very good, so that's fine. And let's just try and crank it up to the highest preset ever, medium, which is just so weird. But okay, let's go to medium, just see how it's going. Remember, we're at 540. Whoa, that's tanked it down to like 30 FPS, 33 FPS. And honestly, it's not really worth it, in my opinion. I would just leave this at very low and just play at like 50 FPS, if that was me. But you are not me, so you might not want to play like that, and that's totally fine. So I'm going to go up here and go back to very low, and I'm going to go all the way up to the top again, and I'm going to get out of borderless, and I'm going to choose 720p, reapply borderless, right? And we're still at a 50% upscale. So what's that? 360p now we've gone to. So let's just see. Ah, right. This is the thing where you apply borderless full screen and it will just set it to the native resolution of your screen. So we're not at 720p or 360p right now. I need to actually manually change the screen for our Armory crate, wherever that is. Let's just have a quick look. So resolution, here we go. And I'm just going to save that, come out, and now I'm going to go, nope, I want 720p. Thank you. And you can see the FPS shooting up now because I've forced 720p on, because otherwise I'd be playing in a little window, right? So just bear that in mind if that's, many games do this, where you enable borderless full screen and it won't change the resolution. It will just stay on your native resolution. You have to go into the vendor's software and change it that way. So we're at 720p now. We are upscaling. Well, we're not upscaling. We're just straight up 360p raster, 70 FPS. 70, and it looks great, and we're still getting none of that hideous shimmering like we were with FSR. So 70 FPS, this is actually pretty good. Way more playable than I was expecting. It hit 80 FPS there, just running through there, but way more stable than I was expecting for a UE5 game, especially on an older Z1 Extreme just here with 8 gig of VRAM set. So this is totally playable in my opinion. I think this is great. So yeah, you can play this. You could probably bump it up from very low to low or whatever, but I'd like that extra headroom, like 70 FPS, totally cool. 360p here, looks great, plays great, like nothing wrong with that. So just bear that in mind. I think, will it run? Yeah, totally. I could easily play this all day at 360p. Just don't tell anyone, because everyone will go, ugh, 360p. You know, just tell them it's 1080p and it'll be fine. Everyone will believe you. It's all good. It's all good. Let's move on. And now we're on to the Xbox Ally X. We're at 10 gig of VRAM. I'm going to go into here and show you we're at 35 watts maxed out. And also, where is it? CPU boost is off. Let's get into the game, shall we? So here we go. We're in the settings here. I've got VSync off, minimum, maximum off for FPS, borderless full screen. So that will be forcing 1080p, as we found out in the ROG Ally X section. I'm at 100% resolution scale, very low, all very low. Screen checks on, motion blur's off, TSR on. I'm going to go to native so that this is native async compute. Turn that off because it will tank it. And I'm also going to go vendor specific so that it chooses AMD anti-lag. and that's it. So we're at 35 watts, maxed out, 1080p, and let's just see how this is. And oh, just below, oh, okay, quite a bit below 30 FPS here. We're at 27 FPS. Yeah, 27 FPS, but it's not good. So even maxed out, the Z2 Extreme at 35 watts, which is ridiculous, can't play the game at 30 FPS on the lowest settings natively, right? So just bear that in mind. Now, what I'm going to do here is I'll just go and turn on FSR. Let's do FSR. Yeah, cool. Let's go to medium, which is a 50% upscale, right? And so that's what? 540p we're going at, okay? 540p, give it a second. And we're at like 40 odd FPS. This is now playable, you know, 40 odd FPS, upscaling from 540p to 1080p. But man, the image quality is not ideal. Like, look at the shimmering. Ugh. I know I've just shown this on the other two sections, but a lot of people skip in for these specific devices. So I'm just going to go over it again. The image stability is horrendous. There's flickering absolutely everywhere, which is FSR causing that from a 50% upscale. So this is not the best way of playing this, in my opinion. Let me show you what I would do is go here, go down, and go to TSR and go to native again. So there shouldn't be any upscaling on now, right? Now what I'm going to do is do the same upscale. I'm going to go to 50%. Well, it's not upscaling. I'm doing a rasterized performance, play this game at 50% resolution, so 540p, no upscaling. I'm just halving the resolution from 1080p. And let's go back and go back. Give it a second. And look at the stability of the image quality. Like, it is so much better. There's no shimmering. There's a little bit on the stairs, just like around here and stuff. You're gonna get that, right? But look at the performance. It's way better than using FSR, because FSR, it has a cost to it. When we were using FSR, we were using a base resolution of 540p and then upscaling it to 1080p, and that upscaling causes a loss in performance because it needs compute to do that upscale, right? Whereas what we're doing now is not upscaling it, we're just rasterized performance, playing it at 540p, which gives a way better image stability and more frame rate. And because it's only a 7-inch screen, it looks great. Like, if you showed someone this and said, yeah, that's like 1080p, they would just go, yeah, you know, yeah, it looks great, because it does look good. But it's 540p, like, so it's not great. Like, this game runs pretty bad. So if you really want to get the best performance from it, just half the resolution without any upscaling, because it's going to get the best image stability and frame rate, which is really good. But we are at, you know, 1080p. So what I'm going to do is I've got to go in here and then drop the resolution. Where's the resolution? Where is it? Here, to 720p, right? So now I'm going to go into there and do 720p. Let's go to settings, go to video, and let's just take this back up to 100%. And you'll see if I go to borderless full screen, that's now 720p. And I'll go back to here. And now what that's done is actually taken me to native 720p, because when you enable borderless full screen, it just goes back to the default resolution of your monitor. So that's why you have to change it in here first. Otherwise, it will just still think it's 1080p, which we don't want. So this is native 720p now, no upscaling, no half resolution or anything. And we're getting a good 45 FPS, which is good, you know? So 720p, this is rasterized 720p, looks good, almost 50 FPS. It is sharper than, obviously, you know, like 540p. So it's very, very good. But you could do the same trick here. So you could actually go down and run it at like 360p without upscaling, because upscaling is going to make it shimmer and flicker like rubbish. Obviously, you can choose in between that as well. You don't have to. I'm just showing like extreme cases here. You can go to 50%, which is going to be 360p now, because we're at half of 720p. This is raster performance. Look at that, almost 90 FPS. Okay, it's dropping down now, so there's a spike, but we're almost at what, 65 FPS, which is fine. Now, this is noticeably worse than running it at 1080p and then half resolution in it to 540p, because we're now at 360p. So it is a little bit muddy, the image quality, but the stability is still better than using FSR. And the frame rate is better as well. So just bear that in mind. If it was me, I'd run this at 1080p and then use 50% of the resolution. So 540p raster is how I'd play this. But the game's totally playable. It's just not playable at native maxed out, you know, at all low settings. You just can't do it. Like, it's like less than 30 FPS. So the game is not very good on this, but that's Unreal Engine 5 for you. But you can still get around it and play pretty well. Let's move on. And now we're on to the big boy, the Lenovo Legion Go 2. I do have 16 gig of VRAM set on this one. And if I go into the right menu here, I've got it maxed out at 35 watts. We are plugged in as well. And I'm also using the balanced OS power mode just there. We're in the game settings just here, and I'm gonna go to screen calibration. Can I turn off HDR in the game? No, that's frustrating. I'm hoping it's not gonna be blown out for you because I'm not filming in HDR, so just bear that in mind. If it looks a little bit blown out, I apologize. VSync's off, min max FPS off, borderless full screen, 1200p, 100% resolution scale, very low just here. And we've got TSR native, async compute is off, and vendor specific, so it's choosing AMD anti-lag, right? So remember, this is 1200p. So I'm gonna expect it's gonna run worse than the Xbox Ally X did at 1080p. And let's just find out, shall we? As always, the screen on this thing is absolutely insane. And yeah, look at it, it runs pretty bad. Like we're like 20 FPS, 25 FPS, 24 FPS. It's not good, is it? It's not good. And this is the lowest of the low, maxed out Z2 Extreme. And we can't even get 30 FPS in this game thanks to Unreal Engine 5. But there we go, that's that. So that's not good. Let's change some stuff, shall we? So most people's natural reaction will be, it's cool, let's throw on some FSR. And that's cool. Let's try that, shall we? Let's go to medium FSR because it's 50% resolution scale. So we're at 1200p, that's going to be 800p, which is acceptable. You know, it's not 800p, what am I talking about? 600p, so acceptable. And to be fair, we're now getting nearly 50 FPS. We're at 48 FPS, it's pretty locked at 40 FPS. We've gone up to the 50. I mean, to be fair, this is okay. It's all right, FPS-wise. If you're just looking at performance-wise, it's all right. You can play like this. Like, you can totally do that. Like, don't worry. Like, it's cool. But I'm going to show you something that will make it way better. Because look, as I look around, do you see everything is flickering? Like, it's just flickering so badly that I just couldn't deal with that myself, personally. It's just terrible. So there's a way around that by not upscaling and instead just rendering the game out at 50% resolution raster. So we're going to go here to FSR. We're going to go to native. I'll just change it to TSR there, native, right? And then I'm going to go all the way back up to the top to resolution scale, and I'm going to drop it all down to 50%. So we're now still at 600p, but we're not upscaling it back to 1200p, right? So not only do I get a little tiny bit FPS more, I mean, to be fair, on the other devices, I was getting actually considerably more FPS boost by just doing this, but check this out. Way more stable. Like, the flickering, there is still a little bit of flickering as always, but it's just way more stable. You're not getting little pops like and cracks and whizzlers everywhere, technical terms for you. It's still gonna have some of that because it's, you know, 600p we're at, but we're well over 50 FPS now. We're like 54 FPS. It does drop down to like 48 when I go and stand over here. But, you know, the frame rate is slightly better, but the image stability is what we're looking at here. And that stability is miles better to the point this is playable to me. I can turn my FPS monitor off now and enjoy the game, especially on this big screen where it accentuates that FSR flicker, which is absolutely disgusting. And I wouldn't play like that. But if you want to play like that, that's cool. I would rather just raster performance play it at 600p, right? And it's way more stable. The image is just so much more stable. This is good. Like, I would love to play it on here because the screen mainly is just fantastic. I do have HDR on though, so it's probably looking better for me than it is for you. It's probably blown out for you. I do apologize. But you can totally run it like this. But I do want to show you as well, because the game is running with borderless full screen. If you want to change the resolution, it's not actually going to do so like in the game, right? So I'm just going to put it back to 100% resolution scale and we're back out. So this is now native. We're back to like 20 FPS, look, horrendous. But if I go here, look, and go to borderless full screen, let's turn that off quickly, and you'd think, oh, it's cool. I could choose 1200 by 800 here, 800p. Can I go lower than that? No. So I can go to 800p here, but obviously you've got a tiny, tiny little window now. So you go, it's all right, I'll stretch it back up by hitting borderless full screen and then back out. But look, the frame rate's the same. And you're like, hang on a minute, why is 1200p the same performance as 800p? And that's because the game just bypasses it back to the native resolution of your monitor. So you actually need to change that in your vendor's software. Oh, I did a screenshot, that was cool. So what I need to do is actually go here and then change it to 800p here, right? And now I've said, hey, to the game, my monitor is now changed to 800p. And even though I'm in borderless full screen, that's now choosing 800p. You can see now with the FPS just shot up from 22 to almost 40, and we're still raster performance now at 800p. And this is great. Like, we're at like 40 FPS, I could totally play like this. And it's sharper than the 600p 50% resolution scale from 1200p. So it's a bit of a compromise here. It looks better. The performance is a little bit less, but I could still play around 40 FPS on a 144 hertz screen with VRR activating at 30 FPS. Like, this is totally acceptable. But if you wanted some more FPS, then you can go down, and again, you can use FSR or TSR, but I just would not recommend that because the image stability sucks. So just to show you extreme, you don't have to go all the way down to 50%. You can go to any of these, right? But I'm going to just show you 50% of 800p. We're going to be at 400p base resolution, like raster 400p, but we're like over, well, we're around 65 FPS there. So it does look less sharp, noticeably less sharp, but the image stability is still really good, and we're still getting decent FPS. The fans, by the way, on the Legion Go 2 are going absolutely ballistic because I'm at 35 watts, everything's maxed out. So it's, you know, chugging hard on the fan front, right? So they're very, very loud right now. But again, you could go to the resolution scale and go to like, I don't know, like 80% of 1200p and go, yep, cool. And again, image quality is really good, but we're now like almost 50 FPS. So you can play around like that. That's how I would recommend you play this. Just play around with the resolution scale whilst keeping everything on like native, like FSR and TSR on native. But of course, with the higher VRAM bump, we could totally go down to the quality preset, and let's just try it at like medium. I mean, that's everything on medium. So it's probably gonna like drop the FPS quite hard. Yeah, we're at like 35 FPS. Yeah, meh. I probably wouldn't do that myself. If I was to do it, I'd probably go and leave this at, let's just say 800p, right? And then I would go to the very low preset and do this manually. So set effects quality low, geometric quality low, global illumination, let's go low, lighting low, texture quality medium, reflections on low, atmosphere, let's leave that on very low, and post-processing, let's put that to medium and just see what this is like. So we're almost, we're about 35 FPS, not too bad. Again, you can play around with these settings yourself. And we are at 800p, remember, so you can change that resolution scale. But yeah, it's totally playable on this. It's just, unfortunately, it's a UE5 game and it's making all these handhelds chug. So there we have it. Will it run on handheld? Yeah, but unfortunately, being a UE5 game, it just doesn't run very well on these handhelds, especially when you think Xbox has like 2 handhelds that they have, and they can't even run maxed out native resolution at 30 FPS. Like, there's even on very low, they can't even hit that. They're like sub 20. Like, it's bad. Like, it's not great. Can they run it? Absolutely. You know, the little white boy here struggles a little bit, you know, but they can all run it, providing that you drop the resolution significantly, because the like graphic settings, like very low, low and medium, like why didn't they just go low, medium, high? Like, it's just weird, but whatever. So you've got the options there of TSR or FSR if you're, you know, using an AMD handheld, of course, and you can use that. But in my opinion, that's just not the way to play it, because it's just hideously fizzly and cracky. Like, you can see all the upscaling, like artifacts and stuff. It's disgusting, honestly. Like, I just would not play like that. I showed you what I would play it like in each section, which would be to use no upscaling, leave everything at native, but then go to the render resolution and dropping it. Drop that, use that slider where you're not then re-upscaling to the native resolution of your panel. You're just literally rendering the game raster at that lower resolution. So not only are you going to get slightly more FPS, but you're also going to get a much more stable image. And that's how I'd play it. but it's kind of a shame that we have to like tank the resolutions to get these games to run. So, but yeah, will it run? Absolutely. And I know some of you are going, where's a G3E device? Where's the new Intel device? Well, we don't have one at the minute. I placed an order for a One X Player 3, but whilst the Indiegogo just ended like yesterday or today or whatever, the shipments aren't starting until like August, and we're going to be in batch 2 because we bought one like everyone else. We don't get like special treatment or nothing like that. So I'm literally going to have to wait. So I might not even get the device until like after Gamescom, which will be like September. But who knows? Maybe we'll get our hands on like an MSI Claw EX before then. I don't actually know, so I'm hoping to feature a G3E in these Will It runs going forward, like sooner rather than later. But if we have to wait, then we'll have to wait for my One X Player 3 to come. But there we go. That's how it runs. Of course, if you have SteamOS installed and you buy this game on Steam, you're probably going to get slightly better performance because there is like, what, 10%, maybe 20% max performance gains for running like Linux instead of Windows. But this is just how it was running on Windows 11 and Xbox mode, whatever they call it these days. But anyway, hopefully you've enjoyed this video. Let me know down in the comments all of your thoughts. How would you run it? Would you use upscaling? Would you do my native, I keep saying native, the like resolution trick where you just raster like, you know, the game at a lower resolution? Because I think that's the best way by far for image stability and clarity. But that's just me. Whilst you're down there, like this video, subscribe, become a member, and you get to chat to us over on a private Discord, and I'll see you in the next one. Thanks for watching.